Right, you. Back to work. Go and sort my sag out.
It's not very often, is it, that a woman asks you that she needs to sag a bit more. Well, in this case, Lizzie wants to be a bit
more sag.
She wants to be a bit more saggy.
I want my bike to be a little bit lower, and the technical term for that is I need to adjust my sag. Geez, the sun's in my eye and I can't see anything.
So yeah, we're going to attempt to adjust the preload on Lizzie's Voge 525DSX, and it's not straightforward. If you've tried to find this on the internet anywhere, good luck, and you might as well give up trying to look in the manual, because the manual is terrible at explaining it. And no, it's not all in Chinese, but
Ooh, we ain't had Chinese for ages.
no, we don't do it anymore, do we?
No.
Every time I eat Chinese, I feel terrible.
Oh, I'll get well bloated from Chinese now. So Chinese is off the list food-wise, but on the list bike-wise.
Ah, let's go. So I am going to adjust the preload on the shock absorber of a Voge 525DSX. You might be aware, you might not, there aren't many videos out there that show how to actually do this, because on a lot of these monoshocks, on a lot of motorcycles, you adjust two rings, okay, and you use a thing called a C-spanner. A lot of you out there will be familiar with that. You put the C-spanner around the lock nut and you just crank it, and it rotates the nut. But on the Voge, you cannot get to the top of the monoshock through the top or even underneath to put a C-spanner on. I just don't know how you can do it. There's no explanations for it. And even in the manual just says basically turn one anti-clockwise or clockwise, depending on what you want to do. Now, this is for Lizzie's motorcycle, and she wants to have a little bit more sag on the bike so that when she gets onto the bike, it just drops it by a few centimeters so she can touch the floor with a little bit more confidence. She's a bit better than on her toes at the moment, but she's not quite flat-footed. So we want to get that down just a little bit more and actually give a little bit more give in the bike, because the suspension comes set up quite hard. If she puts luggage onto the bike, we may have to tighten it up a little bit, but just for sag, just to bring it down a little bit, basically what you do is the top locking ring, and you'll see it in a minute when I do it, the top ring or the top nut is a locking ring. You anti-clockwise rotate that to get it out of the way. So the bottom ring we can turn again anti-clockwise so that it gives us a little bit of softer dampening in the preload, okay? Once I've loosened the lower ring, then we tighten the top one back to it so it can't move anymore. Fairly simple, but difficult to get to. Now, what you're gonna need for this, I don't suggest tapping with a screwdriver or a lightish like hammer, like a claw hammer, because you're gonna have to hit the screwdriver hard, and you'll see it when I show you it, but the end of the screwdriver obviously is quite sharp, and these nuts are only aluminium, so if you hit it too hard, you're gonna shear off some of the lugs on these aluminium lock nuts. The only thing I've got is this, it's an old rasping file I've got, but it's got a flat end. So it's got a long piece and a flat end, so I can hit this and it's not going to damage the aluminium. I've chose to use a club hammer, so it's got a bit of weight, so I only have to tap it gently, and it's actually going to move the nut better than trying to hit it with a claw hammer. I use a marker pen, the marker pen just to mark where I've rotated the actual nut, because if you forget, you can always put it back to exactly where it was. And then you need some lights just to shine up in the area inside, because it's so dark you can't see anything. And maybe a bit of WD-40, just spray on the lock nuts and that at first so that it loosens it up a little bit. That's it, we're gonna go and do it now. Why don't you follow along? It's a little bit dark in our garage, but hopefully you'll get the gist of how to do this for yourself.
So I've just been summoned back to the garage to go and finish and sort out my sag. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is measure the distance between the saddle and the floor to compare.
The first thing we need to do is to measure Lizzie on the bike to see how much the sag It is the technical term, how much sag there is on the bike. So we measure the bike as it is normally, say to saddle height, and then we'll see how much it changes when Lizzie gets on it, and then we know when we adjust it what the difference is. Right?
Right, let's go, boss.
Let's go. Bike now, Mrs.
I was just literally working out in my head just for 1 second, because I need to see if I can change those over here. We're going to have to come out this way.
Right, babe. Let's do what we're doing and not get confused with doing something completely different. I'm concentrating on this. Come on. We'll talk about it in a minute. This is what happens when you work with someone who's got ADHD. They go off onto a million and different other things than the one thing that you're concentrating on. And what happens usually is I'll start diverting off because Lizzie's talking about something completely different because her brain's going, oh, shiny things somewhere else. Let me look at that. And then I forget all about what I was doing first time. And then we go on to talking about the other thing. And then what Lizzie does is, have you adjusted that shock absorber yet? And I go, well, I ain't done it because you started. You need to get a move on, Neil. Difficult, I tell you. So
good job I do have that kind of brain, because did you remember to get anything out for dinner tonight?
Come on. Let's get you off the bike.
Okay, so my brain has already said, I'm not interested anymore, and I'm ready to go and do something else because this is taking far too long. What? And I'm bored. Bored in the house, and I'm in the house bored.
I'm down here on my poor old knee. See if it actually does anything.
Have you done it yet? Have you finished yet?
Not yet.
Come on. Get it done. Can I bash it?
Oh, we need to put it on his centre stand. Did it. Okay, so once the top one is slightly loosened, it actually loosens quite easy. Look.
I can see it.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Right.
My bike's going to squash.
Now what I've done is I've marked the teeth so that I know where to get it back in line.
Okay, I'm sure.
Anti-clockwise. So anti-clockwise makes it softer on your bum.
Okay.
Clockwise makes it harder. So there. So that's one turn, right? One turn. I'm tightening this back up.
That's taken over 3 minutes to do one turn.
Yeah, but
I know you're doing it gently and quietly and softly. So we are adjusting it anti-clockwise, so that makes it softer on the bum. But if you want it a bit harder, go the other way.
So what I have to do, I have to move that top ring, because the top ring is a locking ring, Liz, right? Mm-hmm. The bottom ring adjusts the preload on the shock. So that's how far it sags down. At, I'd say 80, no.
So whether that made any difference, I don't know, or whether I just don't feel nervous about lifting it. So
okay, should we take it down another full turn and see what that does?
Yep. So one of the hardest things for me to do is actually taking the bike off the centre stand, putting it on the centre stand. So I've just avoided it and just got somebody else to do it all the time, or just bought a bike without centre stand so that I don't have to be put in that position to do it. Unfortunately, my glamorous assistant is telling me I have to do it, because it's a bit like my dad used to do. He used to say, if you can't maintain a car, don't drive it. You know, you've got to know the basics. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to go and try and take my bike off of the centre stand, which I've never ever done. I didn't even have to do it in my my bike training because I just couldn't do it. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
I just don't like it.
All you're doing is squashing a
I
bike.
do not like watching it, let alone doing it. Not happening.
The one I've got the bike, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
So just practice pushing down. That's it. Go on, you nearly had it then. Do a bit more.
No, I don't like it. No, I've got no way, it's not moving. How am I supposed to do it? Look. No, I've got...
Squash the bug into the floor.
Oh, fucking no, I've killed 20 of them. This one ain't
Right,
working.
mind out. You failed. That's it. Go on. Push it hard. Come on. Get your...
It ain't moving, look.
Well, teaching somebody who's got a bionic arm to be able to lift quite a heavy bike like the Voge 525 is quite difficult, and it demands a lot of practice. So we will come back to this, and she will be able to do it at some point. I've got to adjust it just a little bit more, and one more turn I think, and then I don't want to do any more, because if I adjust the rear shock too much, then I'm going to have to adjust the front forks. And possibly the light and everything else that goes along with changing the actual geometry of your bike. So I'll safely go down a little bit more. At the moment we're at about 1 centimetre drop. Any more than that, I don't know.
So I'm just wondering if anybody else's garage has got some of the stuff that we've got in ours. So this is one thing we've got. And this is what I used when I made I made it with Neil. We made a riding hand because we needed, I needed a wrist movement. So this was the only way we could do it. And we covered it with a skin here. Hang on. One of these skins is what we covered it with, and attached it to an old cast of one of my old arms. So that's how we made the original riding arm, and that's how we made one of the original riding arms, and I'll show you exactly what it looked like. I'll show you the finished product, and this is the finished product. Things you have to do to keep on biking, eh? There's some of you thinking that you've got problems just trying to do your zip up. Well, these are real world problems when you have to find different arms to use.
Let's measure Lizzie's sag.
I can already feel it's better just by that foot there. My foot is actually touching the floor, so come and film around this side and you'll see the difference already.
What do you mean?
Well, my foot was hanging on the air, weren't it? I was up here.
Oh, was it?
Now I'm here.
Ah.
I can feel I've got a bend in my knee on the left side.
Cool.
Ready?
Yep. You can pull that out much easier. Get it dead straight. So I reckon we've made about 15mm difference, 10 to 15mm difference. So how does that feel? I mean, I'm looking at, can you flat foot both feet?
I can flat foot that side, this side. I can if I'm millimetres with that.
Do you reckon?
Uncomfortable. I'm comfortable to sit. If I'm in traffic, then I can quite easily flat foot like that. Both. I'm about that much off the floor.
Do you remember when you did that before? Was it difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like that.
And now?
Pushing before. Now I'm like this. I've got more or less the whole of my foot goes down when I'm.
And if you've got a bigger pair of bike boots on.
Yeah.
And once you've got luggage on there as well, it's going to go down a little bit more. Isn't it? Mm. Are you happy?
This side, yeah? Can't get the hand open, it's reacting. It was reacting then. So if I do it See, that's the thing, it's the indicators. So a lot of people have asked me about indicators because obviously they're on the left hand side and I haven't had them transferred over, so this is the way that I actually use my indicators with my bionic arm.
That's it. Do it again.
It's left, cancel, right, cancel. Because I can actually, one second. So because I can actually feel vibration inside my actual cast of my arm, I'm able to know whereabouts I'm hitting the actual indicator. So I know whether it's still on or not, because obviously it's on the screen, but I know whereabouts I'm hitting it because it doesn't hit anything else on the actual handlebar. So it's a thumbs up from Lizzie.
Well, you're completely flat this side.
And I'm millimetres this side.
Yeah.
Cover. But if I'm like a flat foot there. Flat foot.
Ready?
Right, that's it, sir. Lunchtime's over. Get back to work.
Let's go. So that's it. We've adjusted Lizzie's shock absorber and it's given her about, I'd say, about 2 centimeters of sag. So when she gets on that, on the bike, she just feels way more confident because it's just brought her feet virtually flat to the floor. Now, again, you don't want to adjust this too much, because if you do, you need to adjust your front forks and you need to adjust your light as well, just to match the geometry of the bike if you change it too much, okay? So be aware of that, okay? So bikes should always be set up according to the rider. Whatever I've turned on Lizzie's bike is going to be different from your bike. You must realise this, okay? Just because I've done 3 turns for Lizzie's weight, then that doesn't mean to say that you need to do the same. You may need less, you may need more, I don't know, okay? So just make sure you look up how to adjust it according to your weight. I'm not a mechanic, okay? So it is just my experience. I'm sharing it with you. Nobody else, there's one video I found on YouTube that explains, I think in Spanish or Portuguese, how to adjust the shock absorber on a Voge 525 or a 625 for that matter. They're both exactly the same. But there's no other information out there. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, leave me a comment below, send me a message. Be really happy to help you out with how I did this if it's confusing you a little bit, because it did confuse us. There you go, that's it. Take care. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed that, then like, share, subscribe, all that business. Send us a message down below. Keep on riding. Take care. We'll see you on the road. Take care.